Every urban setup has its own story to tell. And when Nakuru town takes center stage, it gives new definition to the term city of nature. The former Rift Valley provincial headquarters stands tall as an urban center where nature and the city combine in a harmonious coexistence. But as nature thrives here, industries are collapsing. The county government says it's stepping in with massive restructuring as people's lives are hanging in the balance. And in this era of industrial rubble, seeds of alternative livelihoods are taking root. Here in Nakuru, it's not news that the industrial sector is in crisis. The Nakuru railway station is a testament to how bad things are. Before recession, it used to employ more than 5,000 permanent and casual workers. It provided links between Nakuru industries and its people to the outside world. But it's been abandoned for more than a decade. Restaurants that boomed here ceased to exist many years ago. The train courier services are gone, and with them, thousands of jobs. Only 4 individuals are currently employed by Kenya Railways to work at the station that used to be third largest after Nairobi and Mombasa. Upon our arrival in Nakuru, we found this train being serviced. That is the only role that remained at the station. It plied the Mombasa-Uganda route. Indeed, the station is a ghost of its former self. Long gone are the days of vibrant agricultural production that led to the Kenya Railways constructing rail links to godowns belonging to Mining Corporation, Kenya National Trading Corporation, Unga Limited, Elliots Bakeries, Elianto, Kenya Cooperative Creameries, KCC, and Kenya Planters and Cooperative Union, KPCU. If you are in Nakuru, these are extraordinary times.
There's lack of employment in Nakuru. In fact, you cannot come to Nakuru and work. There's no jobs in Nakuru.
The number of young people we are getting out of our institutions of learning and the absorption capacity of the economy, there's a serious mismatch.
In Kenya's capital, Nairobi, President Uhuru Kenyatta continues to highlight manufacturing as a key component of the Big Four agenda. The head of state is in the final term of his presidency and wants to leave a legacy. But we have come to Nakuru, the ground zero of Kenya's industrialization, to try and understand how talks and deals cut in the nation's capital affect the people who live with the consequences. And we have found something worth highlighting. Yes, there are many parts of this town that are collapsing, families literally falling into pieces. But there is also something alive here, a spirit of resilience. Amid the ruins of industrial collapse, there are glimpses of a population seeking for alternatives. Newton Huino is a university graduate. Having failed to get a formal job upon graduation from Kenyatta University in 2016, he decided to venture into boda business.
Kazi ni kazi, kwa siku unaweza pata 800, 700 hivi siku nzuri, na siku mbaya uende na 300 ama 2 pia. Changamoto ni mingi kwa sababu watu wote ambao wanabebwa na pikipiki wanadhani wenye wanafanya bodaboda hawajasoma. Unasikia vibaya kwa sababu wewe na makaratasi zako una la kufanya, uko tu hapa. Kwa hivyo inabidi tu uvumilie na uendelee na kazi, kwa sababu hawezi acha, utakula nini?
Because there is no option, they cannot go to any factory. All these factories are closed. So they hope to go to border, others start hawking, small businesses.
All the countries that have been able to manage this issue of employment, what have they done? And there's always one answer, is industry.
Nakuru currently has an unemployment burden of approximately 675,000 young people competing for limited opportunities.
Kama sasa sisi hapa tuko wawili wenye wamegraduate, tuko na kazi, mwingine amefanya computer na unaona bado tuko hapa. Tunafanya tu boda.
Centrally located, Nakuru town tells the story of Kenya's urban centers that were once industrial giants, but went into steep decline with a dramatic impact on low-income households. For decades, the economy and identity of the town revolved around Eveready Company Limited. Elias Magoma recalls the good old days when trucks delivering raw materials to manufacturing plants in Nakuru town's industrial area would zoom past him as he walked to the factory where he worked for almost a decade. Those were the days when you could hear advertisements like,
insist on the longer-lasting battery. Eveready, Shika Paka Power.
You would hardly be on the road for an hour or so without seeing a vehicle greeted. Another one from Unga Limited, Nakuru.
Eveready was the best company in Nakuru. And in fact, Eveready used to pay a lot of money. Those people who used to work in the Eveready, they used to be rich, they used to live in a better life.
Niliweza kusaidia ndugu zangu wale walikuwa wakisoma na familia yangu.
Biashara ilikuwa mzuri hapa. Si kama hii sasa. Chakula tulikuwa nakula hapa. Hiyo break na hata hii kampuni tulikuwa nakunywa chai hata ugali. Naona ile kantini, ile ni kantini ambayo tulikuwa nakunywa chai hapo saa hiyo.
Ya green pale.
Hii imefunikwa hiyo na msituni sasa. Kampuni ilikuwa mzuri sana.
But Eveready would close shop in 2014. According to the management then, the company was unable to compete against imported cheap dry cell batteries that had flooded the market.
Ndio hii kampuni sasa ikarara mpaka vile unaiona hivi imekuwa msituni.
For many years, this multi-billion property used to provide jobs for the people of Nakuru and Kenya at large. But as of now, the property is just a shell of how it used to be. Now, let me take you through the corners of this property to just show you how things look terrible. The factory that produced dry cells has been left to erode.
Wakauza materials zile machines walikuwa wakitengenezea factory battery dismantle wakauza kama scraps, wakafunga kabisa.
Today, the industry's long steel structures, a local landmark for many years, stands above the feeble, desolate factory like a giant symbol of failure and of an industry long gone by. The closure of Eveready signaled a growing trend of grand industrial exits witnessed in Nakuru in the last 3 decades. The year 2000 witnessed the closure of Flamingo Bottlers, which transferred its operations to Nairobi after a decade. Kenya's only pre-independence tomato paste maker, Kabazi Canas, which provided market for Subukia farmers, quietly went under several years ago, leaving behind a rich legacy that saw Kabazi Center owned next to the facility. In 1992, Elliots Bakeries Limited Nakuru, one of the oldest bread-making farms in Kenya, wound up leaving about 600 employees out of jobs. The farm's management said the decision was taken to avoid further losses after losing 51.9 million shillings in 1991. Within the same period, Valley Bakeries Limited, a leading bakery in Nakuru town, also ceased operation following what it described as acute shortages in vital raw materials.
We have Afrospin in the outskirts of Nakuru. It also collapsed. So at least 10 of the companies collapsed in Nakuru.
With its agricultural hinterland, Nakuru serves as a major source of raw materials for industries. Geographically, the town is centrally located in relation to the rest of the country and is therefore more accessible. Yet the middle-of-the-road performance of the town's industrial establishments seems to defy the theory. Many farms that have not closed down are merely hanging on to survive, while others have had to cut down on production or lay off workers in a bid to stay afloat.
If you look at some of the policies we've had in the recent past, they are not favoring the local industries. If you look at the amount of imports we have on almost any commodity, we're talking of a country where even food security alone, we are importing our own food, we are importing clothes.
But the county boss says there is hope Nakuru will rise from its ruins.
We are trying to work with the two major geothermal companies, that is GDC and Kengen, to come up with industrial parks within where they are producing energy.
Tuna matumaini tu kwamba tutapata kazi siku moja kwa hii kaunti.
Enock Sikolia, Citizen TV, Nakuru County.